Your men's and women's Money in the Bank match winners, Damian Priest and Io Sky, just as I predicted last Sunday here on this podcast. And like I said, my heart said LA Knight. I really was hoping to see him win. I would have loved to see LA Knight walk away with the briefcase. My head told me Damian Priest. And Priest made the most sense story-wise, especially with Finn Balor losing to Seth Rollins. This is going to dredge up even more drama now within the Judgment Day, who are the dominant faction on Monday nights. On Fridays, it's the Bloodline. On Mondays, it's the Judgment Day. And we already saw it last night when Priest teased cashing in during the world title match. And that little distraction ended up costing Finn Balor the match, and he was not happy about that. Damian Priest has taken a lot of L's in recent months. He was the only member of the Judgment Day to not even have a match at WrestleMania. Then he lost to Rey Mysterio. He lost to Bad Bunny. He lost to Seth Rollins. He lost to Cody Rhodes. Even LA Knight picked up a win over Rey Mysterio on SmackDown last week. If it wasn't going to be LA Knight, I'm glad it was Damian Priest and not Logan Paul. Now let's talk about LA Knight, because that's all anybody was talking about coming out of the show yesterday was LA Knight. Reports of his demise have been greatly exaggerated. He was mega over in London, the likes of which I have not seen in a very long time. There were people online comparing it to early Stone Cold. I'm not comparing it to anything. I don't want to make comparisons. All I know is what my ears told me, which is when they hit his music on SmackDown on Friday in that building, the place exploded. When they hit his music yesterday to come out for the match to open the show, the building exploded. The reactions he got were incredible, and even Pete Dunne, Butch, got booed during a yay boo spot with LA Knight, and for the London fans to side with the other guy over Pete Dunne, that tells you something about how over he was in London this weekend. LA Knight is not buried. Let's get this out of the way first. Oh, he's done. Oh, he's buried. No, he's not. No, he's not. Not yet, anyway. There's always time. But no, LA Knight is not buried. The fact that he is even allowed to be LA Knight right now is a victory, because a year ago, remember where we were. Remember where he was. We were watching on television. He was a manager. He was managing a couple of male models. It's painful now for me to go back. Somebody tweeted out a link to the very first segment with Max Dupree on television when he came out doing that stupid gimmick. And it's painful to go back, and it's like a totally different person. His career was dead in the water 12 months ago until the old geezer in charge, who couldn't keep his dick in his pants, took a 6-month sabbatical. He didn't think LA Knight was worth investing in, so he created Max Dupree. But I hope he turns up his hearing aids, because the reactions that LA Knight has been getting are a message from the fans, even if you resent them for cheering for this guy. We know this company has resented the fans before, right? We've been down this road, we've sang this song before. Even if you resent the fans for cheering for this guy when he's supposed to be a heel and that's not supposed to be the plan, because, again, he's a heel or because we didn't have any real plans for him, they are cheering for him. They do want to see more of him. And Vince McMahon needs to see there is something there worth exploiting. Even if they already had a winner in mind for Money in the Bank, maybe they set their plans a week or two ago, they didn't want to change, they didn't want to alter their plans. Even they were taken off guard by the strength of the reaction to LA Knight when they got to London. Even if that's the case, and they already had their plans, guess what? Now that's over, now you make new plans. And you factor him into those plans. He just got his first couple of t-shirts up on WWE Shop. Hey, if they sell well enough, that's another way he can get the old man's attention. If people keep up the energy for him, he might just have a fighting chance. And I don't want to hear, oh, he's 40. Oh, he's 40. So what? So are most of the top names on their television show. You know where their television show would be without the people on the roster who were 40 and above? They wouldn't have a show. You would have NXT. They'd have to call people up from fucking Level Up. So I don't want to hear that anymore. And by the way, your Money in the Bank winner last night is 2 months older than LA Knight. So it's no longer it was never really a valid argument. It is no longer a valid argument. So where do you go from here with LA Knight? He didn't win the briefcase. It's not the end of the world, but what do you do with him now? Based on what they did on SmackDown on Friday, it appears that Austin Theory is probably going to defend the United States Championship at SummerSlam against Sheamus. That looks to be the match that they are building towards. That is not the match that I would be building towards. The match that I would be building towards, or what I would be building to, is a babyface turn. Okay, he's coming out there, and he's still kind of booked like a heel, but he shouldn't be heel. Okay, the fans are telling you, we don't want to boo this guy. We're entertained by him. We like him. We want to root for him. I'm not saying he has to change the way he behaves and he should be smacking hands with fans and, oh, the cute little baby. No. Let LA Knight be LA Knight. The fans will just naturally gravitate towards him. Call it a babyface turn. He should be the one to challenge Austin Theory at SummerSlam and win the United States Championship. Now, if not, if they've got their plans locked in and they're going to do Sheamus and Theory, then okay, well, what do you do with him? You could do Logan Paul and LA Knight one-on-one. They've already teased it with some of their verbal exchanges on TV. You know, the promos between them could be a lot of fun. I think those could be very entertaining. Logan right now is a heat magnet, and I would think he's going to have a big match of some kind at SummerSlam. So if you want to do LA Knight and Logan Paul, not a bad spot. Not a bad spot for LA Knight to be in. So that's always another idea that they could go with. But his success should not be measured by whether or not he wins a world title in the next 6 months. If these reactions keep up the way that they've been, and they're not all going to be like London. London is one of the, it's like when they were in Puerto Rico, right? The people were going nuts for Io Sky, and it showed that there is a part of the fan base who likes Io Sky, but it's not like when they went to SmackDown the following week, Io was getting the same reaction that she got in San Juan, right? But it still sent a message to the company. If he's going around and getting these reactions, and they keep giving him consistent television time, I believe his time will come. Whether that means a world title or it's just a place high up on the show in a featured role, that's the main thing that matters, is not to squander what they have been handed by hiding him low on the card or jobbing him out all the time, because WWE can fuck this up. I'm not saying they can't. Oh, I've seen them fuck things up many, many times before. The fans have handed them the ball, and they could easily fumble it. But let's not get carried away just yet and start writing this guy's eulogy. Here lies LA Knight, 2023 to 2023. I'm not ready to do that right now. In the meantime, go watch that Shoes of a Champion promo he did in the NWA if you question whether he could work as a babyface. I go back to that promo every now and then for a good laugh. The women's Money in the Bank match, Io Sky comes out with the briefcase. I like the men's Money in the Bank match more. I thought the better finish was in the women's match. That was very clever. Becky had a pair of handcuffs cuffed to her when Zoe Stark tried to cuff her to one of the turnbuckle beams. So she avoided that, but still had the handcuffs on her wrist. And so her and Bayley were jockeying for position on the ladder. Io reaches through the ladder and cuffs Becky to Bayley. So now they're trapped, and Io climbs over Bayley, who tried to fuck her over earlier in the match by pushing Io off the ladder, and I thought that was going to be the end of it. She ends up climbing over Bayley on the ladder and then pulls down the briefcase to win Money in the Bank. So you would think coming out of the show there would be tensions between her and Bayley, although at the press conference after, they sat next to each other and there was no tension, and Bayley said all that mattered is that Damage Control won. Damage Control won the briefcase. But that jealousy, you have to think it's going to rear its ugly head soon, and Damage Control will be no more. Becky and Trish, this was kind of an odd thing. I don't think I really mentioned this or talked about this enough in the review, but Becky and Trish, they fought in the match. They did spots together, but Trish did not even cost Becky the match or anything, which you would think they would either they would kind of brawl off during the match, or one would cost the other the victory to put more heat on their feud, and then we get one more match between them at SummerSlam, which I'm almost certain is the direction, to do at least one more Becky against Trish match. But at the end of this, it was just Becky and Bayley, with Io outsmarting the both of them, and Trish didn't factor into this at all, which was kind of odd.